Today, our subject is relationships, more specifically marriage. So, hello, Siri Marka, how are you today?
Hello, Godki, and thank you for being with me here. And I'm happy to finally we are checking this very important subject.
Yes, we have a lot of subjects to ask you, but today is the relationships. So, what I observing around in this new era is that people lost their belief in marriage, in long relationships. They don't want to trust just one person in their life. So, people either they don't get married or they just cheat. You know, we don't see these stable relationships that we used to see around. So, what is happening?
Look, this subject is so big that we can go in many different directions and they are correct. I just want to share something just that it kept my eye. I need to put attention in this. I was checking some news and they said that there are countries that divorce rate is very high. And I do believe one of those countries they were Spain and Portugal.
Oops, my husband is Spanish.
Oh, yeah, but he lives in the US now and he has a very good wife. That's the situation. And it caught my attention. So, look, people today are afraid to commit anything. Why? Because most of the people that are hiding behind their cellular, how they communicate, or the computer. Anywhere you go, people are texting, watching, scrolling, and they forgot that we have to build also a relationship in the environment. Look, and people they don't want to do that. It's easy to scroll down than to have to somebody, hello, how are you? Come on, let's eat together. Come, let's eat. What do you want? Uh,
Can I say something? Can I interrupt just for a second?
sure.
We are also talking a lot of time on WhatsApp with friends, like on or Messenger. Also, like, yes, we stop talking to people around, but we are all the time writing to friends. We have a lot of groups on WhatsApp or iMessage. It's also like a contradiction.
Yeah, but if you see the situation, they don't pick up the phone. They don't confront the moment. Okay,
True.
text me and let me think about and then. And a lot of people just text or leave the message and I will call you back. It's not like a real confrontation. Hello, how are you? What do you want? Tell me.
Wow. Yeah,
Because
it's
most of the
interesting.
people, oh, I have the chance to decide what to do, yes or no. That's why it's better text me and I will let you know. Because they're
So we don't
afraid,
have real conversation.
they're afraid to interrelate a conversation and sometimes you're going to say, oh, I don't know. Or it gets out of you. You always want to be in control. That is why you text your opinion. And in groups also. But to talk in person, sometimes there is some confrontation and negotiations. What I want to say is that today people are very afraid to compromise to the commitment. And this is happened why there are so many divorces. Look, before we used to have to go to an altar to get married. And then they used to put like a ring over your finger and you used to say, I I compromise to be with you the rest of my life in the good health and bad health, in the rich area, coming on the poor situation. And then you used to go to an altar, to a church, to make a wedding, but everybody to know that you are committed, You're trying to get a commitment with that gentleman or that girl that you love in that moment. But to the time, sometimes you find that, oh, this person is not how I want it. I prefer just to find for another person. The key is why you try to fight for another person is because you couldn't compromise to learn the best of that person with the best of you. And there is always excuses in your mind. And when you cannot go through it, in other words, okay, divorce. This is, we are not compatible. And then you divorce and you find another, if that person has 5 problems, the other person will have 10 problems. And this is what people think. But if we understand that we make a commitment to excel with that person, you won't have another choice. And it depends about the power of your compromise to honor your own words. That is how I see it. If you don't have the intention or the commitment to focus what you promised 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or last year, believe me, your life is not going to be honored sooner or later by another person.
But there's an exception, right? Because in my parents' generation or earlier, the marriages sometimes they were like abusive. No, to get divorced wasn't an option. I believe you are not talking about this, right? You are talking about relationships that started with love and that this kind of violence it doesn't exist, let's say.
Right. A long time ago is a different situation. We are talking today, 2000, in the year 2000 something. Uh, later we can talk about those. It's a totally different generation. Today, this generation is the communication system, your iPhone, your communication. Is how you communicate to the other person to maintain your relationship longer. And the main situation is people they don't want to compromise now. But it's not the other person, it's yourself that you don't want to compromise your promise that you made in front of an altar or in front of the judge. For and and this is how always people think they're going to find something better and they divorce. But believe me,
I will
it's
put the
difficult to do that.
I will put the case to analyze. It's not the real story, okay? I'm just gonna invent.
Yeah.
Imagine one couple. Let's say me and my partner. We like to drink alcohol. We like to go to parties. You know, like staying up late. We had like a very like crazy life, let's say, and the relationship started with that dynamic, but suddenly I find another way. I discovered yoga and I decided to live a healthy life, and but my partner is not there. His consciousness is not there. So I'm having an evolution, let's say, but he's not. So how we are gonna continue this relationship is like some people can say, but I'm changed and he's not changed. So how can I keep up with this relationship? I cannot be myself anymore. We are not compatible anymore. Why to continue something that is not working?
Wow. Look, I love these subjects a lot because I'm going to answer not how people they want to answer. Is about the energy of the people. If you're married, if you have, I don't know, 1 week or 1 year or 10 years or 30 years of marriage, the energy of the female and the male, they blend together. And if one of them they choose to do something, automatic the energy, the aura, when they get together again, or they are transferring the benefits from one to the other person. Remember, when people get married, they said, now I proclaim you husband and wife, uh, two two bodies and one soul. And I do believe most of the religions they try to, and that is truth. You have two bodies and one soul, uh, but you have to play that two bodies and one soul honestly, not just uh, towards your benefits. I have been seeing, I have been seeing with my own eyes a lot of couples that one person do one thing, the other person the other thing, and the energy, the benefit, they get together, and that is what is marriage, because it's two bodies and one soul.
Okay,
And
so like the
but
mission of me like elevating the other person then. It's my like my mission in the couple.
yeah, it's just a mission. Why? Because for some reason you choose that person, or some reason people they go together. The destiny brought them together for 10 years
Mm-hmm.
or 30 years, and this is the right person to work it out. It's
Mm-hmm.
nothing is by a coincidence. It's because your vibration attract that person. Your destiny
Okay.
was to be with that person.
Okay, I will bring another case because I want to
Tell me.
be really useful for many people that are watching us. Imagine in a couple again, the woman wants to have a baby and the man doesn't want to have a baby. So how we are gonna work on this? Because it's not fair for the kid to have a father who originally didn't want to have, you know. And it's like if the woman somehow tries to get pregnant, you know, it's like a little bit cheating. So it's not being innocent. Then there's energetically a problem. So how could you advise us on this case?
Okay, look, let's go back a little bit. You always attract what is exactly what you deserve. If
Wow,
somebody
it's
attract,
hard to
always,
hear.
always. If you attract a person, like in this case, a husband doesn't want a kid, uh, for some reason you attract those people and you have to work it out. But there is always a solution. There is always a negotiation. And if that's the case from the woman to the man, I do believe the woman always can negotiate this situation. When it's the opposite from the man to the woman, it's a little bit difficult because uh, the woman is the person who's to carry the baby, and it's a lot of work for the woman. And yes, I know, I
Mhm.
hear a lot of people, oh no, I don't want to have kids. I want to have a business. I'm working for this company. I want to travel in all those things. But this is what people attract each other. Now,
Well, then how would
what
you resolve the situation? Like, imagine what you're saying. The man wants have a child, and the woman doesn't. So, would you advise like so get divorced, or there is always again a solution for this too?
there is always a solution. First, you think, how can you find this? How you marry this person first? No? O sea, why you were blind, or she forced you to get married or something. So you have to find the enchantment that it was in the beginning of that relationship. It has to be an enchantment. If not, somebody force you to get married with a gun, he say, yes, you want to marry. Yes, I want to get married. No. If you have a little bit of your intention to to get married with somebody, go back to that intention that you have, that belief you have, and revive that intention. I do believe any situation can work it out. And people have come to see me with questions that is hard to believe, but we always find a solution. If you are open for the solution, you are going to find it. But if you close to the solution, just divorce them because nobody's going to
Okay.
try to change. But remember, all the things that they irritate you from your partner, or all the things that you cannot convince of your partner, or all the angry that we get, if you don't evolve, that situation is going to repeat again, and you're going to find
Mhm.
another person the same. In any situation, remember, you always find a two directions, or evolve or repeat. It's up to you.
One more question. Sometimes people they say everything was great in the first years. We were in love, we were passionate, everything was great, but then it was very monotone. We lost how do you say charm, the spark, and it became like a habit. It's like my roommate or my friend. So they miss this life energy, let's say the vitality, to go and flirt. This how would you um, tell people to keep this love state, let's say?
Look, what people, it's not like you lost the love. We find, we try to find the excuse of why we want to manipulate in this situation and to blame the other person. And of course, people can find it. It's just an excuse why the relationship is not working. Oh, because the other person is not romantic anymore. Because the other person became very angry. Because the other person just spent time working, 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 no time for me. Or because the other person is so busy that not put any attention. Look, we have to negotiate, but we have to always to continue with what was the original intention when you fell in love with your partner, your husband, your wife, and you always can continue that one. It's about negotiation to convince people to come on, life is not that bad. Let's make it better. And that is,
Okay. And divorce is never, never, never an option for you? Or there are cases like, okay, the karma is paid now and let's move on.
look, the divorce is never an option for me. Why? Uh, I see a little bit different. For some reason, people get married, they got together, and you have to understand the reason why get together. He never got a reason to get divorced. They got married to evolve together, to be happy together, to create a family together, to enjoy life together till your deathbed moment. When you are just ready to die, right there is when you see the real marriage. You are there holding hands, and it's most likely that life is going to be better. Look, I'm going to tell you something very interesting. People don't see it. This is how I see it. I see the in any relationship, the woman and the man, what is the benefit of what they can lose in the getting divorced? They getting divorced because there is some fighting before they get divorced. yelling, screaming, and all those things. You know, if the woman innocence goes in this lifetime as one husband, that husband stays in the arc line of the woman until he dies. If there
What
is
is the arc
different
line
men,
for the people who don't know it? Can you
it's
say what
like
is the arc line?
okay, look, people understand. It's in the hand of your palm, written that you're going to be with what person. The arc line is in the woman's is in your chest. You can see the destiny of with how many opposite partners they have. Now, maybe let's talk one day about this subject about the arc line. And
I'm
but
gonna note it.
yeah, write it there. But because it's very look, people think it is against the woman. In any relationship, the aura of the man it gets involved in the aura of the woman, and it gets printed right there. It happened in the woman, it doesn't happen in the man. So people say, "Oh my God, why it happened only to the woman and yeah, not to the man?" Is there are different auras, but it's not like the man is free to sleep with a lot of women and never gets affected in the aura. It's only the ladies that, oh my God, the abuse. No, look, the, the, the situation in a divorce is most likely that it was a fight, it was a confrontation. When the woman yells at the male, at the husband, the male gets affected in his heart. And people they don't know this. This is a very important subject to talk in the future. But in any verse, you can see, and it doesn't affect in the heart of the woman.
No?
It has in the heart of the man. So when the
Wow.
couple start fighting, the effects over there, the the yelling, screaming, and in the woman, it gets imprinted in the arc line, and it's a compensation. So what I personally said to people is, wow, it's not necessary to get to that point.
Mhm.
If somebody decided to change sex or something, that is a little bit different. But till, till you are a male and female, there is the exceed the possibility to work out any situation. And that is true.
Okay.
There is
And
no excuses.
I'm trying to ask all kind of questions to resist, what you're saying for
Please,
everybody, get advantage of this conversation.
please.
So there are people who gets a second marriage and they are very happy.
Mhm.
So how come? I mean, I saw these things, they were very unhappy in their first relationship, their marriage. Actually, someone from my family now thinking about, and they got married to another person, and then everything's great. So what is the situation here?
The situation is in the first marriage, they didn't feel noble enough to give up the fight. In the
Novel?
second marriage, they feel very like, okay, now I'm going to be nice to the other person.
Okay, it's a change of mental state
It's the
then
mental
makes this
state.
change.
It's the state. And it's not that the one person is better than the other person. Is the you automatic surrender to the questions or you surrender uh, to the relation to make it work out. And why you
Okay,
didn't do it
so
in the first one?
yeah,
Because you were so
I was
stubborn
tired.
enough, tired. But look, if there is some kids in the first marriage, the person who has the suffering are the kids, because the kids will always say my mama, my papa, and why they didn't like. And this is a breaking heart in the kid, that it can go for long time, forever. And that is
Hmm.
the DNA that kid attract with his parents. Yes, I'm opposite to the divorce, uh, but everybody has to have the spirit to keep working towards improve any relationship, and that is possible. Look, everybody blames for somebody, or the other person has better thing, but like they always, the grass across the street looks greener than your grass. And this is an American expression. And everybody has, oh, I could be happy as that. Oh, that couple looks happy. Oh my God, my marriage is not happy. And you always look, the grass is greener across the street. The solution is put extra water in your on your grass, and it will be greener. Water your grass,
So true. Yeah.
and don't stop looking. Don't
Hmm.
stop stopping. Do not stop.
Hmm. There was a person he was my friend, and he was always like cheating on his girlfriends. And he was
Mm-hmm.
telling me like, look, Gökçe, um, you say that monogamy is good, is, it's important, but in the animal world, it doesn't work this way. Like male is programmed to it's programmed for reproduction, and he is after, female. I mean, as many as sperm that he can give to female. I mean, it's his job. So he says like, it's not compatible with nature what you are saying. And my personal point of view is that we are not animals, right? We have some common points, but we are more evolved people, so we don't need to copy animals. We are beyond that. But how would you answer to him if he was in front of you?
Okay. Look, it's very sad to know that people think that way. And yes, they think that way. But imagine the level of awareness or consciousness that these people use their own heart to live their life. They can reproduce many kids, but imagine the innocence of that new soul to grow with no father or to
Wow.
another
Mhm.
father. Just mentally, the psyche. Maybe his father did the same, and now he wants to do the same. But
You're
in
right. You're
reality,
absolutely
we
right,
are
by the
not
way.
animals. We are not animals.
Yeah.
We are here to create awareness and consciousness. And you cannot create consciousness when you're not the leader to guide, to lead your kids to be better than you.
Okay. So we invite all the couples to be more patient and to be more careful to each other, try to negotiate, right?
And to do,
Compassionate.
yeah, to do things together. Do things together. You know
Mm-hmm.
what? It works the best when two people have some mar- problems in their marriage. Try to do things together, serving the other people, and it always works. Create
Mm-hmm.
organization to feed the homeless, help people to clean the beaches, pick up paper, all those things together as a service. It helps a lot to rebuild that enchantment of love that we used to have when we were teenagers and you decided to go to the altar and to get married. You
Mm.
have to nurture that good intention, and
Yes.
the best way to nurture that is serving the people around you.
Yes. And the most important thing that I took from this conversation today is the neighbor's grass is always greener. If you want your garden also to look as green as the neighbor's garden, just water it.
That's it.
Yeah, water it. I mean,
Nurture
some
the merit.
efforts. Yeah, nurture. Yes.
Nurture the
So
merit. And
thank you very much. Do you
yeah.
have anything to add
Look,
before we close the session?
yeah, I would say, look, we meditate to have more awareness in life, and everything is possible if you want it. And just remember one thing: life is not that bad. Life is
We
good.
need to believe it.
Yeah,
Yes.
life
So
is
thank
good.
you very much for
Okay,
sharing
thank you.
everything with us. Thank you,
It's,
everyone, for listening to us, and see you in the next episode. Bye
yeah,
bye.
we'll see you again and again. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.